about getting a cat? Are you already a cat parent? In this video, I dive into the real pros and cons of owning cats, including the joy, the mess, and everything in between, from bug hunting and cuddle time to hairballs and broken antique lamps. You'll get a real-life look at what it's like to live with 4 indoor rescue cats. I also share some useful tips that could save your furniture, your sanity, and your sleep. I'll talk about our 2-year-old polydactyl twins, Charlie and Leo, cats with 7 toes on each paw, and their huge personalities to match. I also share our rescue stories, including our beloved lake cats, Midnight and Fender, the cost of care, and smart tips to keep your house smelling fresh. Hi, I'm Niki. Welcome to Paws Bound. We currently live in swampy, hot, humid Florida, and let me tell you, cat ownership here comes with its own set of challenges. But for us, it's mostly worth it. Okay, so let's start out with the pros of owning cats. So first off, they're fantastic exterminators. So like I said, we currently live in tropical Florida, and roaches, rats, and ants, they're common in households. And although we have a regular pest control service, the cats make excellent bug hunters. Cats can be fun, they can be sweet, they can be playful. They're mostly quiet. They nap several hours a day, which is also a con because then they're up all night with the zoomies. They mostly self-groom themselves, thank goodness. I'll give you a helpful tip on this subject in this video. They have unique personalities, and yes, they can be trained. They even bring you things, which is a pro and a con. I like when they bring me those little plastic springs, but not so much a dead lizard or any other critter. Of course, there are some cons. Their hair gets everywhere. They'll scratch your furniture and they'll ruin nice things. We can never have nice things. They barf, some more than others. They get the zoomies and they break stuff. They can be vocal, especially when trying to find each other or us. They scratch at our bedroom doors because we don't let them sleep with us. And why? Well, they like to bathe themselves in the middle of the night. And they like to jump on our bed and slap my ass at 2 a.m. They can be mischievous. They'll even attack each other, and we break up cat fights daily. And because our cats are indoor cats, when they see squirrels or possums out the window, they lose their freaking minds. Don and I have been cat parents since 2014, and all of our cats are or have been rescues. So let me introduce you to them. So Midnight, or Middy as we called him, was a sweet all-black cat. He was a stray who showed up at our house in 2021. He used to come into our yard to be fed, and he would come to the front of the house. But a great thing about Middy is that he would also slip through our wrought iron gate and come into the backyard and want to be around our dogs. He loved being near them. He also wanted to be picked up and held. We brought Middy into our lives Christmas week in 2021. Unfortunately, he was only with us for about 2 years. He was playing one night with the other cats while we were watching TV, and we heard this terrible yowl and then this thud on the wood floor. He had had a heart attack and he passed suddenly. And that's another con, the heartbreak that you feel when you lose one of your cats before they grow old. You never really know how much time you'll have with them. Our other stray is Juju. He was the neighborhood cat and a lot of neighbors fed him. So I found out that he ran away from his first owner when they got a dog. His second family didn't let him in the house very often, and sadly, they moved away and they left him. When he didn't come around the morning after, I knew something was wrong. I went searching for him and I couldn't find him. I ended up calling the realtor that was selling the house of the family that abandoned him. She mentioned that a woman in our neighborhood who was with a local foster agency, she had picked him up the night before. So I called her, we chatted, we told her that we wanted to permanently adopt him. At first we thought Juju was a girl, so we named him Julie, which ironically was also the name of his original owner that we had to call because he was microchipped and get her to reluctantly relinquish him, which was annoying as he was only her cat as far as the microchip was concerned. She hadn't seen him in a few years. The foster mom brought him over the next day so that we could reconnect, and he's been with us ever since. He is a very sweet cat, and when we found out that he was a he and not a she, we then changed his name to Juju. Juju is a survivalist cat. Although we fed him every morning, I don't think he knew when his next meal was going to be. So we think that's why he gorges himself and why he's become so chonky. Nutmeg, or Nutty, is our orange tabby, and if you've ever owned a tabby, then you know how affectionate they are. He's my lap cat. He's always looking for a warm spot, and he just wants to be close. He's the only cat in our family that will actually lay on my lap. And no joke, he gives high fives. When we decided to adopt a cat, Don proposed that we get two, which I was thrilled with. We also adopted Fender and Nutty on the same day from two separate foster parents in 2014. So it took Fender a while to come around, which can also be a con. So cats need time to pick their humans. Sometimes this can take a couple of years, as has been the case with most of our cats. Except for Nutty, he took to me day one. But once Fender came around, he bonded with Don and he became Don's cat. Sadly, he passed away from liver disease in 2020 at just 6 years old. And so our beloved Cookie, our pit bull mix dog, she also died from liver disease in 2023 when she was just 9. We thought we'd get more time with her. And now, our twins, our polydactyl cats, Charlie and Leo. So polydactyl means that they have extra toes or toe beans. It's a genetic mutation that gives them this like mitten-like foot. I believe the legend is that sailors thought that they brought luck because the extra toes helped them balance on the ships and made them better hunters for catching rats on the boats. Sometimes they are called Hemingway cats. Ernest Hemingway had a lot of polydactyl cats at his home in Key West. So I haven't been down to Key West in probably, 20 years, but the Hemingway Home and Museum still has 60 polydactyl cats descended from his original cat named Snow White. Our pollies have 7 toes on each paw. Normally, I think cats have just 5. They were part of a litter fostered by the same amazing woman who helped us with Juju. I originally wanted Charlie, but he was spoken for. A litter of 6 cats, some of them polydactyl, were brought to her to foster. And her Instagram immediately blew up over these cats, and I was all for it. I wanted Charlie so bad. He was the smallest and cutest kitty of the litter, but he was spoken for very quickly. The Pollies came up for adoption about a month after Cookie passed, and we knew that we didn't want to commit to another dog, and I worked to convince Don of why we should get another cat. He agreed, and I went to see the lot. I was going to take the mama, but she never came out of hiding. Instead, a furry little gray cat named Leo, he came striding up to me. I picked him up and I imprinted on him like Jacob in Twilight. He had the most gorgeous blue eyes and the sweetest disposition. And in mid-June, we officially adopted him. As I was driving home a couple days later, I saw his foster mom out in her yard, and I stopped by just to chat with her. She informed me that Charlie's adoption fell through. So I raced home to tell Don, who said, "Okay, but this is it. No more pets after this." I immediately texted her and I asked if she wanted us to adopt Charlie, and she was thrilled. She was also heartbroken because she seriously considered keeping him, but she felt like it wasn't fair for him to be in a house full of other foster cats that were broken and needed help. And she asked when we wanted to adopt him, and I said, no. So 2 days later, we had both Leo and Charlie. And even though they were only separated by a couple of days, they fought hard when they were reunited. I mean, it only lasted like 30 minutes or so before they realized, oh yeah, we're brothers. The Polly twins, they are so unique. They're sensitive, they're funny, they have this quiet emotional intelligence. Charlie likes to sit like an old man, smoking cigars and regaling his children tales of his youth. And Leo likes to quietly observe how the other cats play, and he likes to attack poor Nutty. So if you're considering getting a cat or 2, or 4, here are some tips to help. Cover your furniture, especially if you care about it. So we have slip covers that we bought off of Amazon that help protect our couch and our chair. And we also use pet blankets on areas that the slip cover just doesn't quite reach. Diffusers help a lot with smells. So I like Joe Malone reed diffusers. I had a couple of glass jars and I split up the scented oil into 3 jars and then I distributed them in different rooms. We use HEPA filters in each room and we change the filters monthly. We have 5 Viva HEPA filters to neutralize any pet smells. Scoop the litter box twice a day. We scoop in the mornings and the evenings. And we use Tidy Cats unscented. So the scented kind and the lightweight one, they just kind of irritated our cats. If you live in a tropical climate and are prone to critters getting in your house, sweet or sugar ants, they're very common in Florida, then I suggest you get Bug Snub from Amazon. So I have the tray that their food sits on. They have self-feeders, which is another tip. Our cats would cry for food in the middle of the night. So getting a self-feeder was the best thing that we did for them. Plus, if we are going to be away all day, we don't have to worry about them eating. They have a self-feeder and they have a self-waterer. And their self-feeder sits on that tray and it has special legs that I put Bug Snub all around it so that ants or other critters can't get at their food. I also use those commercial plastic food containers that I get off of Amazon, and I line the rims with Bug Snub, and then I set the 4 legs of the table that their self-feeder sits on into the containers so that the ants can't crawl up the legs and get to their food. It's just added prevention and it doesn't harm our pets. And if you're adopting kittens, I highly suggest that you invest in an electric trimmer. So trust me, sanitary shaves are necessary at times, especially when they're learning to groom. Give your cats places to climb and scratch. We have a tall cat tower in our dining room. Trim their nails regularly. So our polys need to go to the vet for this, and that's a cost to keep in mind. With our polydactyls, we have to take them to the vet to do this. And this can be another con. So cats can be expensive. You've got their food, their vet visits, their vaccinations, which we just did for our polydactyls, and it was almost $400 for the vet visit and the vaccinations, plus nail trimming. I have to take the polys to the vet for nail trimming every 6 weeks or so. It's one of the cons of owning polydactyls. Charlie has 1 toe and it's quite hidden, and it takes 2 people to get in there and clip that 1 nail. Cat hair gets everywhere. Be prepared to sweep, vacuum, and dust often if you have multiple cats. Cats can be a handful, but they're also wonderful additions to our lives. Ours bring us so much joy and a little bit of chaos. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you understand what it's really like to own cats, especially if you're thinking about getting a polydactyl. Please like this video and consider subscribing so I can bring more content like this. Until next time, hasta luego, my friends.